Hey, before we jump into the podcast, I've got a huge announcement to make. For the first time ever, I'm going to be holding a real estate investing workshop right here at my office in Las Vegas. I'll be given the same blueprint that we've used to fix and flip and wholesale over 100 homes the last 3 years straight. We'll be going over how to find good deals, raise money to buy those deals, manage contractors, build out a team, and much more. And it doesn't matter if you're trying to get your first deal or scale your business. This workshop is going to help you get to the next level. And I'm purposely keeping it small so that we can have that intimate feel and get all your questions answered. So if you want to jump in on the workshop, you can find it at ryanpineda.com. It'll be right there on the main page, or you can click the link below. Once again, go to ryanpineda.com or click the link below. Remember, spots are limited, so make sure you sign up quick. Now, let's jump into the episode. In today's episode, I had Landon and Jesse Boakley on, and we talked about a ton of great topics. They grew up in an entrepreneurial home, and they explained what it was like watching their dads sell their businesses for millions of dollars and do big deals, how they got into real estate house flipping and built this business that does over 50 flips per year. They also went over what it was like joining their very first mastermind and how it has impacted their business greatly. And then we got into some other fun topics like NFTs and the crypto space and just all of these other tax things that everyone is doing to offset all of those gains. So you guys want to make sure you stay till the very end because it is an awesome episode. Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show, where our mission is to invest,
I only expect to make money in things that I understand.
innovate,
It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past.
and inspire. I am much more likely to hit my goal just due to putting it out there.
You now rocking with the best.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show. Today, we have a very special duo in the house. We've got my good friends, Landon and Jesse Boakley, out of Las Vegas. They're real estate investors, and they've been crushing it for a while now. Happy to have you guys on the show.
Man, we're super happy to be here. Thanks for having us today.
Appreciate it.
So I got to let you guys know, first and foremost, these guys, they've been doing real estate investing for, the last 4 or 5 years
It's been
now?
5 years now.
5 years.
2016, yeah.
And their renovations are the most beautiful renovations I've ever seen.
You mean that?
I really do mean that. Like, my renovations are just so normal and plain. So every time I see your guys, I'm like, man, I wish I could do that, but I can't.
I get it because you've told us before. You're like, I don't like it. I don't like doing that.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to spend my time doing that. And we do.
There's
And
a
that's the
difference,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
You've had the turn and burn model over the years, and ours has been a little bit more of the high quality, full gut rehabs.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll talk about that later, just on different ways to succeed when it comes to flipping and investing. Not every business has to be the same. But before we jump into that, why don't you just give us a quick rundown of who you guys are and how you got here?
Cool.
Yeah, so I'll start out. We were born and raised in Las Vegas, and we're cousins, but we go by the Boakley brothers simply because
Everyone calls us brothers.
when we show up everywhere, we're asked if we're twins and if we're brothers. So we feel now it's easier to just go by the Boakley brothers brand.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So, but starting out, I mean, I think it'd be really cool to explain where we were created, where we came from, even like a generation
Probably your
before.
moms.
I would say they probably needed a little help.
They probably created you, but
Yeah.
And
all
the
right.
help
With a little
that they
help from Dad.
received is who I want to talk about because those guys are definitely the reason why we've done things we've done and where we are today.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool story.
Yeah,
Our dads are identical twins,
Right.
which is also pretty rare. And they're from pretty much ground level, came from nothing, White Plains, New York.
Born to a family of 5 other brothers.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they grew up with no money. We're very poor, hardworking family.
Stole
And,
food to eat,
Right.
stole coats to keep their mom warm in the winter, and literally went down the street to collect tadpoles to sell them to the pet shop. That was their first business.
Right.
Wow.
So, one interesting thing about them is when they were 12, their dad went to work one day and never came back. So
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
that's
It is weird. It's crazy that being without a father, you could still be such a great father.
Right.
It's within you,
Right.
what you decide to do.
Has he ever returned? Have you guys ever
No.
met your grandpa?
Never heard from him again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Poof.
So obviously that molded them a lot. Tell me about like their journey. Obviously they're really big entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So, they once that happened, they were kind of on their own and being identical twins and kind of the outcast with the other brothers because they were such good friends from a young age, being twins. They kind of went on their own and started doing business since they were little. When they were 15 years old, they started buying mini bikes and fixing up mini bikes. They're super handy guys. I mean, probably the most handy guys I've ever met.
Yeah.
They did a whole lot of stuff like that back in New York, ended up making the jump to Las Vegas, started from the ground again selling shoes, then got into pool concessions in one of the strip pools.
Okay.
And was making money hand over fist with that, and then just basically built up. But one day they went to buy their first, let's say, their first retail location. They were going to open an ice cream shop. So they went to meet this guy at the ice cream shop, and he's late. He's not on time there. So they're like, well, what do we do? Next door, there's this arcade. Walked in, bought the arcade. Turned it into their first bar, and it all started from there.
It was called University Pub. It was across from UNLV.
Okay.
And they built this thing with their bare hands from scraps. So they went around town looking for, scrap appliances and built the benches and the booths themselves and all the tables and built the bar out. And so, they built their first 5 to 10 locations
by hand,
literally by hand.
Yep.
And from there they started kind of automating their business a bit and learning what to do and
how to kind of go from hustler to, businessman,
operators. And so they grew, the chain's called PT's Pub.
Yep.
And it's a brand name here in Las Vegas. So if you know Las Vegas, you know PT's Pub.
Yeah. How many are out here now?
Now there's almost 60.
60 to 70 now.
Yep. And it's named after them, Phil and Tom.
Phil and Tom's
Real
Pub.
original.
What's funny is it used to be called PT Boakley's. But the reason they broke it down to PT's Pub was they couldn't afford the full signage. So they had,
PT's Pub is better.
Yeah.
I mean, it tells you exactly what it is.
It does.
So, it's just funny. They could not afford the full Boakley sign. So they broke it down to PT's Pub, and they built 37 locations and then a hotel and casino as well.
Wow.
And then sold them all.
Then they sold them all, and now they've got their eyes set on a bunch of bigger things. But tell us a little bit about what it was like, growing up as kids then. Obviously entrepreneurial fathers, they're building this huge empire of, businesses and everything. And then, how did that influence you guys growing up?
It was great, honestly. I mean, it's so valuable to be just surrounded by that type of thinking, by that type of person. And since they're so, I guess, well known in town, you get to meet everyone.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had tickets to all the shows, and the beverage companies would give us tickets to all the NASCAR events, all the sporting events. But it's crazy. I didn't grow up. I didn't grow up playing sports. I grew up walking bars and walking construction jobs and watching him build this empire from ground up is what I remember from my childhood is always being around the business and the construction side of their business.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, obviously you grew up in that business. You guys went to UNLV both, right?
No, so I went to Arizona State.
Oh, that's right, Arizona State.
I went to Chapman in California.
Okay. And then you come back from college, and then what happens?
Yeah, so Jesse and I, we grew up together, and then we split ways for probably 10 years.
Went to college in Arizona, I went to California.
Okay.
Right, and then we came back. I jumped right into residential real estate for 2 years, and then I moved over to commercial real estate for 2 years.
And when you're doing those, you're just an agent?
Just an agent, yeah. Okay. So I just started. I was a retail agent with Berkshire Hathaway on a nice team, and did it for 2 years. Loved it, but wanted to explore the commercial game a little bit. So, I got a mentor here in town that's a well-known guy here in town and started doing retail leasing and acquisitions and dispositions of shopping centers, which was a fantastic learning experience and, kind of kicked my ass into gear.
Yeah.
Real estate gear. Yeah. You did. Because after college, I took a totally different path.
Yeah.
So I was in Orange County, Chapman University, and then graduated there, lived in L.A., just doing the whole I'm young, trying to figure it out.
Were you going to be an actor?
I was not. That was the one thing I knew I was not going to do. I cannot act. So I lived there for a little while.
He's a singer, though.
Yeah.
You should hear him. Hear me
You
in
got
the
the
shower.
voice of an angel.
Hear me in the shower, baby.
He's a songbird.
And then, so that was 2 years in LA. And then I went, our dads had been starting a technology company, and the office was based out of Sunnyvale.
What
based
didn't these
San
guys
Francisco.
like try and start?
They have their toes in everything. I
Yeah.
swear. And so I worked in that office up in the South Bay, living in Palo Alto for about 2 years. And then when that office actually moved back to Vegas, we teamed up again. We were like, we need to do something.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when Boakley Group was
It was
born.
crazy. I mean, we went years without really spending a lot of time with each other. And then immediately we were like, okay, we're going to do this. You know, I think, Jesse's dad saw the opportunity he had with Jesse and Jesse's motivation to kind of pursue bigger things in life, you know, kind of maturing. And same with me. You know, my dad saw me maturing with the commercial side of the business, and my real estate knowledge was growing. So they finally felt comfortable giving us the opportunity to start flipping homes. And
Right.
literally the flip of a switch, within one day, Jesse and I were in an office by ourselves flipping homes.
Getting serious.
Buying homes. And we, you know, in 2016, probably October, November, we bought our first property. We were in it ourselves trying to change light switches.
Oh, we did.
You know, we thought, okay.
We hung ceiling fans.
Right, we're swinging hammers and we're doing as much as we can.
Because that's what
on
you
our
saw
own.
growing up. You're like,
Right.
this is how it's done.
That's you
Right.
get in there. And
This
you
is
do
how
it.
you got to learn.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we did 3. We made money on them, which was great. So
Yeah.
we were successful for the first couple that, you know, towards the end of the year.
But they
The
didn't.
house is
they-
probably falling apart, but it's all good.
right now, right? I know everything's broken, but they didn't expect us to do
Yeah.
nearly what we did. They were
Right.
like, "You'll just start this and flip." a
Yeah,
couple,
they're
and next
like,
year
let's
you'll-
give these guys a
you'll
shot,
flip a
see what's
couple."
up.
They like later on, years later, talking to them, he's like, "Okay, I expected maybe 3 to 5 houses, 3 to 5 a year.
Right.
Yeah.
We did 3 to 5 in like a few months. Next year,
Right.
full calendar year, we did like 27.
Yeah.
So they were, wait, I didn't plan on this. We need to give you guys more money."
Right.
Yeah.
There's like 2016, you know, fourth quarter, we did 3. 2017, we did 26. 2018, we did 46.
Yeah.
You know, and then 2019, 2020, we did about 50 to 56 each.
Yeah.
And then now 2021, we're
So
rolling
what-
full steam ahead.
What led you to, you know, real estate? Obviously, growing up, you know, you're in the bars, you're in tech companies, you're
Yeah.
in Palo Alto, you're like doing all these things. And then you become a realtor. Like, why?
Right. So, you know, in the downturn, you know, the guys owned a lot of land. So they felt the pain of the downturn. You know, they kept their head above water because they're smart guys and they're hustlers. They started flipping homes, you know, and they became pretty large flippers. I mean, they were doing probably 75 properties a year, you know, from 2010 through 2013 or something, you know, 2008 through 2013. So when I came home from college, I needed some work when I came home. So, dude, I was in the flips, hanging fans, hanging vanity lights. You know,
Right.
every year I would come home for the summer, I'd start hanging lights. I'd start working for the guys on the flips. And it's just when I was little, you know, I was building Connect sets. Like my Christmas presents were Connect sets or Legos or
Yeah.
like I was not a sports guy. I was always building something, always playing with tools,
Right.
like just fascinated with construction for some reason, you know, and
Yeah.
so.
Well, and it goes back to our original thing of like, you guys are very passionate about the construction process and the rehab process. Like, obviously, it's influenced a lot by growing up, like, literally just doing it, like you just said.
Yeah.
When I look at a hammer, like, I get confused. I'm like, how do I use, like, what do I do with this? You know? It's like, man, the battery's dead on the drill. Like,
Guess we can't do anything.
I'm like, I don't have a backup. Like, what am I supposed to do? I
Give
guess we're
yourself
done.
some credit. I know you're better than that.
I know you're smart, man.
I think I've hung one fan back in the day, and it was like a whole day process. It was
The
tough
first
to do.
one always takes a whole day.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a passion.
But that
It's-
question,
that's
we've
why,
been
you
asked that
know?
question a lot, and I feel like we both had growing up some sort of subconscious voice that was like, "You're gonna do real estate."
Right.
And
Yeah.
I didn't tell myself that. No one told me that. It's just something I kind of just assumed was gonna happen, and
Maybe-
I liked it. I was happy about it.
We moved a lot, you know, and maybe that's what it was. Is like I remember moving houses every 2 to 3 years.
You won
with
that
my
capital
family. Like,
gains.
so I looking back, it's like, okay, now I'm putting the pieces together as
Yeah.
to why we moved, and you know,
And where
there's
we
always
moved to.
moving up, and you know,
Yep.
I lived in a lot of houses, when I was little. And some people are like, I live in the same house. My parents live in the same house.
Yeah.
Their parents live
That's a little weird to me.
Yeah, super weird.
Yeah.
And it's like, for us, it's like I probably moved 15 houses when I was a kid.
And these guys, keep in mind, like, I didn't realize where we were going or where we were moving until I grew up. But, like, they were, early 30s, 32, 33. They built, like, these custom multi-million-dollar houses in the fountains.
Yeah.
Even in the fountains.
I've heard of it. I
Old
don't think I've
Green
been
Valley
there.
neighborhood, but it's, like, so
It was the
ornate.
neighborhood, yeah.
It's so ornate and it's just wild
Yeah.
to think, okay, well, I'm 30. Like, I'm kind of approaching that age. And to be doing that, to own multiple bars and be basically like building a dream house, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, thinking about it in hindsight, you're like, dang, these guys were crushing it.
You were getting after it back
Yeah.
then.
I feel like my whole life, and my sister feels the same way. She's an entrepreneur just like we are, but I feel like our whole lives it's been a race against them to try to become more wealtty than they are. At a specific
Just level
age.
it
It's
up,
like,
Yeah.
because they've always told us like, man, by the time when we were 30, we were going gangbusters with the bars and business, and I'm 30 now, and it's like, man, am I behind? I don't know. I
don't have any bars. They had 20.
Right. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Just, real estate's always been our blood.
Yeah.
I feel like it was, I knew it when I went to college. I was like, you know what? I'm going to college for fun and I'm coming home and I'm doing real estate. So it's like, does this degree even matter? Probably not. I'm here for a good time, and to socialize.
Yeah, no, I feel you, dude. So just tell me a little bit about, obviously you guys are extremely successful now in real estate, going on 5 years, and just the progression of where you guys started to hanging fans yourself, to doing all that stuff, to now you just told me buying, your biggest flip yet. You guys are buying one for like 1.6 million and, try and sell it for 3 million. Like that's exciting. So tell me about like just how the progression has been, like now going from, hey, we're working for our dads to like branching off and doing our own thing.
It took some time. Like, it was definitely something, the under the wing type of feeling is good at first. It's very comforting.
I think everyone needs a mentor.
They
If
need
it's your
us,
dad,
yes.
it's
someone.
even better.
Right.
But at first, it's super comforting to be insulated with that. And then you progress to a point where it's a hindrance on your growth personally and business-wise.
Right.
We've talked about this a couple times.
Yeah, and I think just in the past maybe year or two, we've kind of decided to shake that.
Yep.
And then kind of put ourselves out there and, join a coaching program and learn from other mentors, not just the single-sided advice that we've been getting, which is not bad. But again, it only goes so far.
Yeah.
So since then, the last year or two, I think that's really helped us open our eyes to, wow, we can take this thing a lot farther than we thought.
Right. I think we've just become more confident. We did one big deal and sold it and made some money on it, and we're like, okay, that was fun, but let's play cautious and tiptoe into one more. So we're doing one big deal a year.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
do one a month,
especially where the market's at. I mean, we have right now $2 million plus flips going. Plus next week we close on the $1.7 million deal. So it's like we're kind of going and gearing ourselves towards the luxury side of the market.
Yeah. And let me touch on a couple of things you mentioned there. For those listening, to give some context, 1.7 million in Vegas is like a lot. You guys might be in Cali like, yeah, I could get, an entry-level home, whatever.
2-bedroom, 1 bath.
Yeah, like these are like, risky, legitimate investments here in Vegas. Like that's a big deal. The second thing you guys mentioned was the coaching program. So you guys are in our Future Flipper All-Star program. And the one thing that impressed me about you guys, just, watching from afar, we're in the same market, we're technically competitors. And then for you guys to be like, hey, we want to learn. We want to get outside of our comfort zone, see what you're doing, because we have different business models. You're like, we want to just open our minds up. We've learned one way, and as you just said, like, we want to do different stuff. And I think that's so key to anyone's growth. Doesn't matter if you're in real estate or whatever, like, open your mind to, like, many different ways to do things. And that's kind of one of the things we had our initial conversation about in the program was like, hey, okay, tell me the way you're doing it now, and let me tell you how I do it. And then, maybe you blend them together. Maybe you
take pieces.
Yeah, you don't have to do it the exact same way.
Right.
We've used a ton of the value that you've given us, honestly. We've taken a lot of it to heart. And, you know, from the creative financing structures and, you know, being able to jump into, you know, using different financing sources and the hard money sources. I mean, that's caused our business to explode.
Yeah.
You know, we're profiting so much more on each property now.
And that was an hour conversation that just was like a quick thing where I was like, hey, I've been watching you guys do it this way for a while. I think you can double, triple profits if you do it this way.
Very right. You're so right. It's a thing where it's great to be comfortable because you're doing well, but then again, it can be your worst enemy to not allow you to think outside of your box or search, even decide to search for other avenues of doing things.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, you know, like Jesse said, we have always played just more on the conservative side. You know, when we're buying, we're very cautious with buying. I mean, we give kudos to ourselves, you know, that we haven't lost money on a lot of homes.
Right.
Like, you know, our business model is to not lose money.
That's
like,
a really understated
Right.
statement there, because when you talk to flippers, they'll tell you about their losses.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You're not a real flipper if you haven't
Your
lost.
year, I mean, you're 19?
2019, yeah. I lost $500,000 on bad deals.
Right. I think our maximum loss, you know, over 225 homes now is, I think 20 grand on one property that just went as a disaster.
That was the biggest loss.
Total over the years is probably under $60,000 in losses over the last 5 years.
That's crazy.
In baseball, that's batting 1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Exactly.
But, you know, then the caveat to that is, you know,
Are you taking enough risk?
joining your your program and watching you and talking to you, our mental now is to be confident and take a little bit more risk within our business. And we've been doing that. And we've been doing it because we watch guys like you with your business. And it's like, you know, losing sometimes is okay, but because you're going to win a lot more than you lose.
It gets you 5 more wins.
Exactly.
You know?
And we're trying to take that into account with our business now because, you know, traditionally we've been conservative. We're starting to play a little bit more aggressive now. And I think
in
it's
today's
because of you.
market. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And we talked about that on the coaching call yesterday or 2 days ago about, hey, this market, now's the time to get really aggressive.
Yeah.
You know?
Go for it.
Yeah. And there's, you know, you got to switch the aggressiveness depending on how the market and the world and everything's going. Right now is like unlike anything I've ever seen
in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, back to 2004, 2005 levels or better.
Yeah.
And how long is it going to last? You know, what's your prediction on that?
You know, I was one of the very few saying last year during COVID that, hey, everyone else is scared. Like, I'm buying.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm like,
that stuck out to us.
Yeah. And it goes with risk tolerance, but I truly believed what was going to happen. Actually, you know, luckily I was right. I said that they're not going to let people get foreclosed on. They're going to continue to lower rates and pump money. Like, this is inevitable.
He knew someone in the government.
I did.
He knew someone.
I added in with Trump.
There it is.
So he was telling me, and he's like, I'm probably going to get impeached again and all this stuff. But
yeah, because we stopped when you were buying. I mean, we were watching, and you were telling, you know, publicly saying buy.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here saying, no, he's crazy.
But sometimes it takes seeing someone that you consider like a peer to go out and do it and succeed to say, I can do that too.
Right. Well, and I'll tell you too, you know, like one of our mission statements on this podcast is inspire. And so like, even me, there are so many times that I've been hesitant or I'm like, dude, that guy's crazy or that's stupid. And it takes like seeing it work where you're like, all right, I'm all in, baby. Like, and so for me, one of those things was YouTube. You know, over the years, I saw YouTube and I'd heard of YouTubers and I'm like, why would I waste time making like these videos? Like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And then I see what these guys make. Like, I mean, there's guys now making millions every month based on, and I know them. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
it is.
I can't believe I didn't like try and do this earlier.
I remember sitting like late up at night watching YouTube in high school, but never thinking like, well, what's the other side of this like?
Yeah.
Let me be a creator, not just a consumer of this content. And I just didn't even register.
Yeah.
But if it did back then, I mean, Mr. Beast would be here and we'd be here.
I mean, it is truly unbelievable what the social media world has grown into and what it's come to. And we're trying to ride that same path as well.
Yeah, you guys are starting your channel right now, right?
We are. We've been filming and are set to launch in April.
Okay.
So we're very, very excited.
What's the channel going to be called?
Oakley Brothers.
Okay, so the Boakley Brothers. We will link to it down below. By the time this airs, you guys will probably be launched right around then. So definitely go subscribe to them. I would suggest
talking real estate, talking flipping, talking finance. So
okay. Are you guys going to do any type of giveaway? I would do a giveaway.
For like a first episode or
just like,
just
for everyone subscribing. Guys, they're going to do a giveaway. So make sure you guys
idea.
subscribe.
It's a great idea.
Giveaway it is.
Yeah.
How much should we give?
I think you can give probably, I don't know, up to you guys. You give away $1,000 to a couple of people, whoever subscribed. Give away free phone calls.
All right.
I was going to say, like,
couple coaching calls.
Yeah.
Cash phone calls. I mean, everyone loves cash.
Yeah.
But are there other things like maybe like interactions with you or
that's what I'm saying. Like
flying them out or something?
Yeah, dude, that'd be tight too.
Yeah.
Maybe the grand prize is somebody who gets to spend a day with you guys at one of your $1.7 million flips.
Right,
like that would be
cool.
dope. If you guys would like that, comment below.
Let's go.
So
we are game for that. We'd love to have someone come out.
Yeah, we did the giveaway for this podcast, and it's helped tremendously. That's why I'm suggesting
Great
it.
advice. Thank you.
Yeah. But let's transition into that. Let's talk about social media. Both of us have had success in the real estate world. And, we've said, like, real estate, it's the long-term thing. It's like, it's never going away. I feel like I'll always flip houses. I'll always.
We could do this forever.
Yeah, right. Like, I truly enjoy it. I may not enjoy the construction side, but I enjoy the business side and everything that comes with it. But social media is kind of the new endeavor for myself, for you guys, everything like that. Like, what have you seen since you really started taking it seriously?
One thing I've seen a lot of things, but I've realized one thing, and it's kind of like counterintuitive to other industries or activities. There's room for everyone.
Oh,
There's so much room for everyone who wants to do this.
You can't really saturate the social media market.
No, the internet is endless.
It's pretty big.
Yes. So that's something that's like kind of just opened my eyes is maybe, you get into flipping in a certain city or a small town and it's like, oh, well, there's so many people doing it.
Yeah, you guys are always going after the same stuff.
Right. There you feel that competition, but like with the internet and social media, you don't feel it at all.
There's billions of people that you can market to, so you can't fill that hopper up.
It actually works the opposite way, where if you talk to other people that are doing the same thing, you benefit. You both benefit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, collaboration in any business is so key, right? Like, you're starting to see this shift from competition to collaboration. Because with collaboration, like, even on the business side, we can do deals together. We can fund deals. We can wholesale. We can flip. Like, there's so many things. We could partner up on big developments.
Sure.
And then on the social media side, collabs are so key for helping each other grow their, audience. But, it brings value to their audience too. Like, you're bringing on these new people. It's great.
I mean, what are we doing right now?
Yeah.
That was one of the points I was going to make is you can't even fathom the opportunities that could come out of social media until they just hit you in the face, honestly, because we've had people reach out to us where now we're consulting for guys like Andre who, we're going to rehab his house and remodel his house and collaborate on it. And that's just, it's so cool to have something like that happen this early on in our social media career.
Right.
Because, it's just unbelievable what could come out of these type of opportunities.
Yeah, no, and it's crazy. The bigger you build your influence, just the more opportunities that come your way. Like, I can't even share some of my opportunities because just NDAs and stuff. But, just like on the public side, we've gotten so many referrals from, people for my tax company, for buying houses. In fact, like Nick is working a buyer right now for $8 million that came from social media.
Didn't that huge sale, was that that came from social media?
Yeah. So it's just like, it's crazy how much stuff can happen. And even just with all your businesses. That's why I say, like, if you have business savvy and social media savvy, it's a wrap.
Right.
You got it.
You're set. Yeah. That's all you need.
I mean, from the opportunities that come in that could actually lead to monetary value, to just connecting with people and connecting the dots of some, geniuses around the world. I mean, there's people are so smart nowadays and so creative on these platforms.
Yeah, that actually brings me to the biggest point about social media that people have never even thought about. But before I get to that point, let's hear a word from our sponsor. Are you thinking about buying a home in Las Vegas? My brokerage, Forever Home Realty, can help. We're seeing a huge influx of people all over the country purchase here. Many are fleeing California and other high-tax states to move here where it's much more affordable and tax-friendly. Whether you're thinking about buying a primary residence or an investment property, Forever Home Realty can help. Go to ryanpineda.com/Vegas to get a free consultation from one of our agents. Once again, that's ryanpineda.com/Vegas. How often have you driven around and seen houses that were in rough shape? If you're a real estate investor, you know those are the best deals. With Batch Driven, you're now able to capitalize on those homes. You can mark the home, get owner information, and send them a mailer or a text right from the app. And there are other great features like lead management, MLS data, and real-time driving routes. If you want to start today, you can get half off your first month by going to batchdriven.com/Ryan. Once again, that's batchdriven.com/Ryan for half off your first month. One of the hardest parts about real estate investing is finding a good contractor. That's where Southwestern Custom Construction comes in. They've been doing remodels in Nevada and Arizona since 2006. As a fully licensed and bonded general contractor, they're able to help with any type of renovation, all the way from an entry-level fixer-upper to a custom luxury home. Southwestern Custom Construction specializes in working with investors. I've personally used them on many of my projects, so I know their team is legit. If you want to get a bid on a project, head over to customhomenow.com. Once again, that's customhomenow.com. Now, back to the show. All right, so the biggest thing I've seen with social media that has really been the most mind-blowing is that you can contact literally anyone and get a hold of them. Like, it did not used to be like that 5-10 years ago. Like, if you want to get a hold of somebody, you better have known somebody who known somebody. There's no phone numbers for these people to contact, nothing. It's like I've DM'd so many people and just have opened the door from the DMs. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, guys like you are not easy to get in touch with, but you are super, super responsive to your followers and to your subscribers. And, we've reached out to a couple people as well and have gotten in touch with them. And you're right. It's connecting those dots and being able to network on a whole new level nowadays. It's unlimited opportunities.
I have some bigger plans for how I'm going to use my following, but tell me, you guys are starting the YouTube channel. You guys are doing well on TikTok. Make sure you guys go follow them on TikTok as well. What's the kind of goal from social media?
So, eventually it would be, I can see what you've created, and eventually it would be to create a really engaged and common community that really circles around entrepreneurship, being young, starting something on your own, whether it's real estate or not. I mean, most of it's going to be real estate content, but I think just the fact that we can kind of speak to a new generation of person that doesn't have to pick whether I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or XYZ.
Don't have to go to college.
You don't have to do that stuff. And I think that type of generation is waking up and listening to guys like us.
Yep.
And so eventually I'd like to have that sort of community that embraces that and embraces the do-it-yourself, work for yourself, build something out of nothing, kind of just like where we came from. And they engage with us, on all kinds of different platforms, and we have meetups and we have all kinds of stuff for that group that support each other.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's plenty to go around. And as long as you're out there trying to help people helping people creates magical things.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're out there just giving value,
right,
the money follows. That's just what happens.
So the goals aren't like, I want to sell this. I want to do that. Yeah. What I want to do is create something valuable. I know there are opportunities.
And you already know, whatever comes from it comes from it.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of stuff.
Right. We're doing it because we love it. We're doing it because we truly want to help people and we want to connect with others that are like-minded.
Yep. I'll tell you, one of the biggest, social media with me right now, we monetize the businesses from the platforms, but one of the biggest things that people don't see is the networking aspect, like you just mentioned, being able to go and network with high-level people because, I have a following now is like seriously the biggest thing out of all of it. Because like I was in Puerto Rico 2-3 weeks ago at a networking event, and these guys, there was guys that had sold their businesses for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Unbelievable.
Crazy. And I'm like, I've never been around that, you know, like the only reason I'm in this room is because, you know, of social media. You know, they don't even have followings, right? But I have a following. And so it's like, yeah, you know, you're on our level. I'm like, I don't think I'm on your level, but
they're talking to you about how you're doing that.
Yeah,
I mean,
they want to know.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we want to get into social media. I'm like, you should just be chilling on your yacht. Like,
I think it goes back to people like us, you know, who always want to stay learning and always want to stay growing. I mean, I think it's important for people to know that, you know, you're in a bunch of different mastermind groups that you still pay for. It's not, they're not free to you. You utilize your hard-earned money to continue to grow, to continue to network, and to continue to meet new people, to bring new endeavors into your life. And I think that's super important for everyone to know, because for us, it's been super valuable, and we're always looking to do the same thing.
Yeah, and I mean, this is really like your first year of, you know, joining masterminds and doing that stuff. So you've already seen just from joining one, like the power of it.
Yeah.
And then imagine when you're in, you know, multiple, and, you know, the big thing for me is getting around like multiple industries, right? So it's like, all right, you know, we got our real estate community. That's great. You know, but I also need to learn social media. I also need to learn general business, like concepts of being a CEO and running big businesses. Like another big one that I'm trying to get into is like these guys who start these, you know, tech companies and stuff and go public. Like that's a whole nother level once you start talking about companies that go public.
Right.
So
You're talking about billionaires.
Yeah. And I mean, like
big moves.
You think about, you know, as far as business goes, like where money's at. I've seen it on like multiple levels now, just hanging around other people. And it's like, it's always just this mindset shift. So for me, when I first started, I was flipping couches, right? And I was like, man, if I can make $200 a couch, like $200 a day is a lot of money, you know, $6,000 a month. Just,
especially when it's just one couch, you know, you pick up a couch, you drop
it takes me a couple hours, like super easy.
10 hours to make that.
Yeah, I know. And so, and $20 an hour, people like love that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, dude, I'm making probably like $50 an hour. This is like the gig. And then I learned about flipping houses, and I'm like, dude, I can make $20,000 a house, right? And then, you know, you do that and you're like, okay, like this is, and then you hear about this guy doing $200,000 a house because he's doing bigger luxury, or he's doing, you know, commercial or something. Then you hear about these land guys selling $2 million, you know.
And it gets bigger and bigger and
You're
bigger.
like, dang, if I just found the right piece of land and developed, I could make $2 million.
Right. The concept is always still the same, right? You know, it's still putting in the due diligence. You know, there's really no difference of finding that land deal and being able to put that deal together to make $100 million than finding the right couch. You know, it's still the same concept of putting in the work, knowing your market, knowing what you're doing, and being able to just execute and take the action on it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's just finding undervalued things and flipping them, you know, and it's just like that stuff, flipping by itself can take you to becoming obviously a millionaire, but to far more than a millionaire. You can become a billionaire flipping stuff. I mean, we actually had on one of our coaching calls, AJ Osborne, who flips businesses and storage units.
Saw that,
like
the storage,
yeah, like he's crushing it. He's got like, what did he say he had? He had like
2,000 doors or
2,000 units or something like that. Plus
crazy.
like all these tech companies that, for him even, he's like, all right, you know, I got 2,000 units. I'm making all this money, but the tech company side of it is where it's at.
What was he doing with the tech company?
He is gonna try and go public. You know, because like he's got all this tech for storage units, and it's like. He developed it for his own use, but it's like every other storage unit needs this tech. They need this software. So why not go public? Boom. Every storage unit in America has this. That's infinitely more valuable than everything.
2,000 units, which is still pretty
valuable. And I'm still like, you know what? I'll take the 2,000 units. But you got to go through the progression to get there. Because, you know, you don't know what you need until you've gotten to that point.
Right.
I couldn't tell you what these storage guys need. Who knows?
No, and, you know, it's just meeting the right people, right? It's just learning from the right guys. I don't think that, you know, it goes back to college. It's, you know, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, college is absolutely necessary. But to be successful in business nowadays, it's all about just meeting the right person.
Yeah. Actually, that's a great point. I want to talk a little bit about that. So when it comes to meeting the right people, right? I was just saying how, you know, in Puerto Rico, I was around these high-level people. It was an invite-only type deal. But how would you guys say you should meet people, like, you know, if you're not in that position where people are knocking on your door like, hey, we want you to come, you know, like, how would you get your foot in the door?
Well, I mean, right now, like one of the things you just mentioned is social media. You could DM almost anyone.
Yeah.
And you get your foot in the door that way.
Yep.
So don't
just go on a DM spree.
Just go for it.
It's prospecting.
Go for
Right.
it. Don't think you can't reach them via that method, because
Yeah.
you can.
Find the people that truly inspire you and that you want to pull nuggets out of, and reach out to them. And, you know, we're always responsive to our DMs and the people that want to learn from us.
Yeah. So I think another great way is, you know, just pay. You know, like at the end of the day, you guys paid to be a part of a mastermind, and how many new people did you meet? Like, how many people have you got
Can't
connected?
count them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just endless.
It's been truly fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, for me, the reason I pay to join all these masterminds is for that reason. Like, I just want to get in the relationships. And the thing is, like, a lot of these masterminds, it's like they don't even care about the money per se. It's just like a filtering mechanism. Like,
Sure.
if you can't pay this, then
Right.
you shouldn't be
Yeah.
here.
Or you're not willing to do that. You're not willing to show
Yeah.
that you want to put that up and you're serious.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a motivation, you know, measurement.
Yeah. And so I think for like a lot of people watching this, like paying to be a part of a community, like that stigma needs to go of like, oh man, like, oh, I got to pay, like it's in it for them. It's like, no, like you don't realize a lot of it is just like, are you qualified to be a part of this community or not?
Sure.
Are you willing to put in that time, the effort, and just pony up, honestly?
Yeah. Cause I mean, look, we do a ton of free stuff and free events and free groups. And it's like the quality of people in those just is significantly less. It just is what it is versus the people who are willing to pay for something. Because those people are hustlers. They're willing to work and, you know, all that.
And even when you get in a group like that, you're not just a one-way sponge. You're there to also provide value to everyone in that group.
Yeah.
Maybe they've been there for a lot longer than you have.
Right.
But it doesn't matter if you're the new guy. You want to absorb from them and you want to give back equally.
Right. Yeah, I'm so the mastermind I'm going to, it's called Collective Genius. You know, I pay $25,000 a year to be a part of it. And I'm going next week to Arizona. And so this mastermind's been around for like, I think 8 years or something. And you got to be doing like 50 plus real estate deals a year to qualify. So you got to be willing to pay a lot of money, and you got to actually have the resume to back it up. But the way that mastermind works is like, you know, they got some speakers and content, but the actual speakers for the majority of it are the members, right? Because everyone's a beast. And so every member has to share something that's working for them. And, you know, dude, I've heard some of the craziest things I would have never thought of. He's like, yep, we're doing this and this and this to get deals. And, you know, they're not like on social media telling everyone, because these guys are just hustlers in their business. I'm like, there's no way I would have ever figured this out.
Is everyone in it primarily real estate driven?
It's a real estate mastermind.
It's a real estate company.
Yeah.
Mastermind.
It's funny because for me now, I mean, I could give them fix and flip stuff, and you know, we do cool things, and I'm sure it'd benefit a lot of people. But every time I have to present, guess what they want?
Social media.
Yeah, they're like, hey,
Of course.
tell us how you're doing social media,
Yeah.
like, because none of us do it. Like, we need to know.
Yeah.
There's some other big guys in that group too that are well known on social media. So, you know, it's obviously a very well put together mastermind.
Yep.
But trying to get to answer your question, getting to people, trying to reach people that you think will benefit you or you can learn from, bringing value. I think that's one of the biggest things.
100%.
Bringing value to someone, not saying or calling them up or DMing them and say, hey, I love what you do. I want to come in here. No,
Be
hey,
my mentor.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
like,
Will you
no.
mentor me, or can I come work for you? It's like,
It's not going to work that way, but you're going to get a lot better responses if it's, hey, I got a great idea to add this to your business, or I can do this for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Bringing something to the table.
Right. Or show the motivation first. Like, hey, I'm working on this. I'm trying to put this deal together. Can you help me connect the dots?
Yeah, I'll cut you in on the deal. Like,
Right.
we'll split the
Exactly.
deal. Like, you know, just add value to whoever you're trying to get. You know, for me, we ended up we're getting ready to throw like our very first big event. You know, obviously couldn't do one last year with COVID, but now we're able to do it.
Is this a
And-
little secret event?
No, this is a big event.
Tell
This
us about
is
it.
gonna, dude. You guys already know it's gonna be our Future Flipper event. We haven't announced it yet. Maybe it'll be announced by the time this airs. But we're in the process of booking the venue and doing all this stuff. But I want to get a big keynote speaker. You know, and I've already got some more. I don't even know how to say this. B-list people set up, but
Don't let them hear that.
Yeah, don't let them know.
Hey, yeah, no, I've got a bunch of A-list people, but I'm looking for the A+ list.
Yeah.
So like, I've reached out to Patrick Bet-David. If you guys have ever seen him, he's just like he's got like 2 million plus subscribers on YouTube.
Okay.
Probably like the biggest entrepreneur channel. So if you're not watching him, you should. He's amazing. His background is he owns an insurance company that does hundreds of millions of dollars.
Cool.
Is crazy. And anyway, love his channel. I'm like, dude, this is the guy like I want at my event to speak. And so we reached out to his team, and ironically, it was Davila who was like, all right, I'm going to just go hit up his team.
Call him.
Yeah, I'm going to call him.
Davila.
No, and then, seriously, they went down that way. So all of a sudden, I'm getting a call from Davila. Hey, I got them on the line. I'm like, I'm like busy, but okay. Like, just filming a podcast, but, we'll take it. So we take the call and, we're talking about the team and his rates and stuff for being a keynote. And, I also start explaining like, hey, yeah, I understand his rates, but I want you to know I can add Patrick value in a lot of other ways, And I said, here's X, Y, Z, how I can add him value, just from this way, this way, this way. And I said, my main priority is, for the event, obviously I'd love to have him, but I want to build a relationship with him. Mm-hmm. And so we have another call today after like presenting all of that. So we'll see where it goes, but it's like, you can add value in so many ways. It's not just money or time. It's like opportunity is huge value.
Absolutely. I bet you got a lot more, they're taken a lot more seriously, or they're a lot more interested because you approached them that way.
Just to pay them for a one-time event's one thing, but to tell them, hey, I'm gonna do business with you.
Yep.
Who knows what that could bring?
Yeah. Like I don't need you to promote my event. Like I want you there so I can actually meet you and build a relationship.
Right. Be a little selfish with it.
Yeah, hey, I need an hour with Patrick, behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not even promoting the event. Right. I just want you to come to my office.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
But yeah, dude, and once again, it just goes back to how easy it is to get in touch with people now with social media, but the second part is much harder. How do I deliver this guy value? Mm-hmm. Especially a guy who's already got, what else can you give him?
Yeah. $100 million business.
I think,
what am I going to bring in?
Also, I think that's kind of a hindering thought process because it's like, yeah, this guy might be worth $200-300 million, but he may not know how to do social media. He may not know how to do Instagram or TikTok as well as you do, and that might be something that he just really wants to learn and get better at.
Dude, it's super funny you just said that because he's not on TikTok. And that was one of the things I said.
That's the key right there.
I said, hey, I've got X amount of followers. He should definitely be on TikTok. Here's why. That was one of the things.
Right. And that's what I think a lot of people kind of get cold feet reaching out to guys that are, or people that are doing higher level business than they are. You can't be scared to reach out because if you feel like you have something valuable to add, everyone could figure out a way to utilize someone.
And the other side of the coin too is also don't think like you're all that. Come with like a humble spirit and
always.
Just let them know like, hey, I'm like super just you're the guy. Like I want to work with you. Mm-hmm. I'm not even close to your level, but I still believe I can add you value. Versus I do get people who message me and that like they do act kind of like they're all that. I'm like, yeah, even if you are, I don't
like this. I don't like this approach.
It's not. Yeah. It's just not a feel good approach. Like we're here to build a relationship, not compete against each other.
Yeah, or just like, oh man, like you deserve me.
Right.
So, yeah, man, I love social media. Obviously, we talk about it a lot on this show. I love real estate. We talk about it a lot on this show. What else would you guys, like to leave the viewers with, as we draw to the close?
I mean, there's some interesting things happening right now in the world. Maybe we should just kind of tap into our brains and give them what our thoughts about it right now.
Yeah, tell me.
So
this is unfiltered.
Yeah.
This is not. Well, actually, it is on YouTube. They can censor me, but whatever.
If they do, they do. Yeah. No, it's not that bad. I just wanted to talk about like obviously some stuff that everyone's seeing in headlines. You're seeing people talk about it. It's growing pretty quickly, and it's not exactly like has to do with the crypto space, that whole space.
How did I know
got
you're
into
going to
that.
talk about crypto?
I know you got into that
NFTs,
recently.
yeah.
But,
Oh, NFTs?
But NFTs, yeah. I was just having like these long conversations with a couple of my friends this week because this seems like it's all snowballing so fast.
It's crazy right now.
Super fast.
And so I went to school with his name's Justin Blau. He's a DJ.
Okay.
He was just on the cover of Forbes, actually.
Oh, I was going to
because
say we need a DJ for this event, but he's probably out of the budget.
he might be a little bit high now, yeah.
He just sold an NFT for what, 11 million?
He sold 30 versions of his latest album at an auction on Nifty Gateway as NFTs. And since it was an auction and he has a fairly good following, he had pretty big people participating. It's like MC Hammer was like one of the people who bought like his.
Really?
Yes.
I thought he was broke.
They
but okay.
paid the top 10 people paid like $3 million each for an album. And so total, he sold about $12 million worth of his album, which he would normally put on Spotify and get paid per streams in a week.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I would rather take the 12 mil
You
today.
get the Top Shot cards
That too.
going in from the NBA right now for $200,000-300,000 a piece as well. Or
Yeah.
I know you're on
think
Clubhouse, right?
Yeah.
So he has a pretty big, not ETF, but NFT and crypto
Like
Clubhouse
room.
group
Yeah.
room. And there's some pretty big people on it. It's cool to listen to.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go follow him.
Yeah.
That's another good idea. Just bringing it up for people listening in. Clubhouse is an incredible way to possibly get in touch or at least listen to a lot of high level people talking real estate.
Yeah, where else can you
Casually
like go
talking real
ask
estate.
somebody a question?
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Elon Musk was on it. I mean, how cool would that be to be able to get on and ask Elon a question?
Well, the funniest thing was Elon was on it grilling the Robinhood CEO. Like,
When
after,
that whole
after
squeeze was
Robinhood's
happening.
thing was going
Yeah.
down. And Elon's on Clubhouse like, hey, are you okay? Like, are they holding you hostage? Like, like, why'd you do it, dude?
Yeah.
Like, why are you
Blink twice
screwing
if you need
everyone?
help.
Yeah, like, to see this banter back and forth between Elon and another
Hilarious.
huge
it's crazy.
Yeah, dude, the transparency's crazy there.
So I wanted to get into that because you have a pretty big following. Is that something you thought about maybe releasing in the
An
near
NFT?
future?
Oh yeah, dude.
Then I was literally getting ready this morning, and I was like, so it's basically digital art,
Yeah,
right? So
right.
it's now music, mostly either video, picture, animation, that type of digital art.
Yeah.
Could we sell digital real estate as an NFT? Like, could you basically create, let's say, like a Matterport video walkthrough?
Are you
Right.
giving billion-dollar ideas?
I am. I'm dropping it right now. Could you create a Matterport?
I'm gonna censor you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get blocked for sure. The 3D Matterport walkthroughs
Yeah.
of iconic buildings, like
Yeah.
iconic locations.
Like
If you own the building,
like the Wish
maybe,
House and NFT
yeah.
of that would be cool.
something,
Yeah.
or I don't know. Or
Well, you
build-
can make one of anything. I mean, at
You
the end
can.
of the day,
You can absolutely. I could take a picture of the sign and make one.
Well, I don't know if you
I
can
don't
make
know
it.
if it'll sell. I don't know if it'll sell. But
I don't know if it'll sell.
We have a lot of censoring going on now.
Yeah.
just
No.
like the okay, this is new, right?
Yeah.
This is in its infancy and it's dealing with art right now. Is it going to branch off in other things?
So here's what I think right now. I've been investing. So for those of you who don't know, listening to this podcast, NFT stands for non-fungible token, and it's a crypto type deal. Honestly, I still don't even understand it completely. But I'm investing heavily in the crypto space now. I think I've got almost $1 million in crypto now, depending on the day.
He's got some coins.
Yeah. And I'm just like looking at these NFTs and I'm like, man, where are they going? Because you saw Logan Paul
Yeah.
just sold, over $5 million of NFTs.
And that's his own little animation of
he made a
himself.
Pokemon card of
Right,
himself.
Pokemon
Yes.
stuff, yeah.
And he sold like 1,000, I don't even remember. It was like 1,000 of them.
Mhm.
I'm like, man, people are paying like $20,000 for a Logan Paul digital Pokemon card.
That's only you can see.
Insane.
Yeah.
it's like-
What is? I own this now. I'm going to keep this for myself. What do I
and
do with this?
So I was,
It's like a little computer. It's small, too. It's not like it's
yeah. And
Picasso.
I was with my friend Andre, who's, for those you don't know, Andre Jick. He's got a huge YouTube following, and he talked in one of his videos about NFTs. And we were talking about it, and he's like, honestly, like what's probably going to happen is people are going to have like a giant iPad at their house, and it's going to have like a QR code on it just saying like, hey, I own this. Like this is the original.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because when you think about it, you're like, Yeah, anyone can have the Mona Lisa. Like, you can have a picture of it. It's no different, but to have the original is where the value is.
Sure.
So, I mean, I understand it. And I guess, too, what would be cool is, like, later on when they're able to make, like, the digital art, like, just crazy, you know, like 3D or, like, a GIF.
Virtual reality.
You know, it's, like, moving and, like, all this stuff. Like, so for sure, I do think it has value, but here's what I think. I started investing in crypto back in 2017, and back then what was hot was called the ICOs, the initial coin offerings.
Right.
And those were the ones where people were supposedly getting rich. Like they were, every coin was like launching, dude. And I was a sucker. I bought into all of them, dude. I'm like, all right, you know, this is going to the moon, baby.
Hopefully
like
you held them since then.
No. Yeah, well, I did. They're just worth nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like
a lot of those fell flat.
Oh, like 99% fell
So
flat.
did you just get into Bitcoin, Ethereum, like the main coins, or?
So what happened back in 17 was, you know, originally I bought Bitcoin, I bought some Ethereum, and then I see everyone talking about altcoins because they're like, dude, I made 100x, you know, once it went public and all this stuff.
From a tenth of a cent to 3 cents.
Yeah, but whatever.
All right.
Yeah. And so they did that, and I'm like, dude, I got to get in some ICO. So I started following all these Twitter guys buying ICOs. I'm like, all right, tight. Like, this guy recommends this one. I'm buying it. But, like, they're getting paid by the ICO to promote it and just pump it.
To plug it all.
Yeah, dude. And, dude, so, like, I was so naive, right? And I bought all these ICOs. Long story short, you know, they all flopped, right? And the thing I learned 3 years later was, like, okay, what still actually remains from all that? It's just Bitcoin, Ethereum, like, yeah, there's all these other coins too, but dude, there's the one. It's Bitcoin, you know? And if you're going to pick a two, then you got Ethereum. And that's like all I'm investing in at this point. And I see so many parallels with the NFTs to like what I saw with ICOs.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, people are going nuts for this stuff, thinking it's going to go crazy.
Right. It can flop quick.
You can create digital art every day forever. Like, what is going to make this one so valuable?
Yeah.
MC Hammer can go create another one tomorrow.
Yeah, and Block could create 20 more albums.
Right. I know.
You know?
Yeah, so that's why I'm looking at it. I'm like,
every DJ is going to create an album, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe by saying this is his very first NFT, okay, you know, I understand that. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like Logan Paul, I don't ever doubt anything Logan Paul does at this point. Like, that dude's a genius.
Marketing genius.
He's a genius. I don't know how much, I mean, to go from being a YouTuber to fighting Floyd Mayweather to opening up Pokemon cards and making millions doing it to like making $5 million on NFT to like, dude, he's the smartest guy. Like, I would venture to guess Logan Paul's probably going to make at least $50 million this year, if I had to guess. Maybe probably more.
What do you think
I might be
Mr.
undershooting
Beast is
it.
going to make?
Oh, Mr. Beast is, I would guess he's making 9 figures easily.
Yeah.
You know, just from all his endeavors, Beast Burgers, like, and he's going to, you can 100,000% guarantee Mr. Beast is coming out with an NFT and he's going to make $50 million off. If your DJ friend made, you know,
12.
Yeah, Mr. Beast is making, he might make $100 million off the NFT.
It's very possible.
It just shows how creative you can get on the social media world. I mean, he's giving stuff away, you know, and with the tax structures behind it. I mean, it's so creative. What have you found with, you know, kind of going off topic here, with the tax structures of social media versus like the traditional real estate tax structure?
Yeah, so for those of you listening who don't know, I own a CPA company called TrueBooks. If you guys want CPA help, go to truebookscpa.com. I'll link to it down below. But this is a big issue I see for the influencers because they all are paying stupid taxes because they have no way to offset it. Because here's the deal, like with us in real estate, we have a lot of costs. We have a lot of things we got to pay. You know, money's constantly in and out and flips. But the biggest thing we get is depreciation. And so depreciation allows us to write off a lot of income.
Right.
Especially if you just do, you know, accelerated depreciation. But
It helps to balance things.
Yeah, and so for me, that's why I'm trying to buy a lot of rentals, and I'm in the process of starting a fund and all that stuff because I feel like social media and education, all this stuff's going to make, you know, more than enough money. I don't like necessarily need to flip as my main source of income like it's been. But on the social media side, there's 2 things that they can do to lower their taxes. One is exactly what Logan Paul's doing, and moving to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So once again, he's already ahead of the curve. In Puerto Rico, he can pay no taxes.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Insane.
And you have to stay there, what, 6 months in a day?
6 months in a day. And for him and any YouTuber, does it really matter where you live?
No.
You can live anywhere.
No. He's going to be traveling so much anyway.
How's the real estate in Puerto Rico going to look here in the next 2 years, 3 years?
Oh, dude. Well, it's already crazy. So, like, when I was out there, you know, the guy who was hosting it, he had just bought a condo, you know, at the resort, $5 million. And the condo was maybe 1,500 square feet.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow. And he was like, I had to pay cash. I had to, like, because it's so competitive. Because all the rich people, like, getting this money are moving there.
Taking haven.
And how many luxury places in Puerto Rico are there?
Yeah.
Right? Supply and demand.
Sure.
So, yeah, the prices are skyrocketing in the luxury side. But, you know, on the normal side of Puerto Rico, it's whatever. Like, it's, you know, it's not going crazy. But, I mean, if you're moving there, you're not going to go live.
Right. Do you see it becoming kind of like Millionaires Row? Like,
oh, 100%. Oh, yeah, dude. They're all moving there.
Exclusive. Is Puerto Rico an island? It is an island, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just an exclusive island of millionaires fleeing from the taxes.
100%. It's
insane.
It's going to happen. And there are other, like, countries that do it, but since Puerto Rico is U.S. territory, that's why it's the most attractive.
Right.
And, you know, so you're going to see a lot of influencers move there. Even with Logan, right? He's got his podcast. He has guests. They'll fly out to Puerto Rico to see him.
Of course he will.
If
fly him out
Logan,
there.
if you're watching this and you want me to go on your podcast, I'll go to Puerto Rico, dude. You don't have to come to mine. I'll go to yours.
Happy to go.
Yeah, happy to go. And so, you know, I think that a lot of them will move to Puerto Rico. But, you know, where the big money is real estate at the end of the day, because not everyone's going to move to Puerto Rico. Even I wouldn't move to Puerto Rico. Like, I love Vegas. But, you know, you look at what Grant Cardone has done for all of these years. The whole thing is he's just using Cardone Capital to offset all of his taxes from 10X and everything else he sells. And, you know, he legit doesn't pay taxes. Because think about it. Like, you know, he talks about the plane and all this stuff all the time. So think if Cardone, I don't even know what his plane costs. It looks pretty sweet, though. So if Cardone made
sweet.
It's sweet.
I just saw him talking about it the other day. He paid. It was a complete write-off. He wrote, I think it was a $50 million plane that he wrote off.
Yeah. So think about this. If Cardone made $50 million last year, right, he'd have to pay $20 million or $40 million.
Right.
Or not 40, sorry, 20.
30,
something around 20.
Paying $20 million in taxes, right? He's like, or I just buy a plane and now I made zero.
Yep.
Right.
I'd buy a plane too, dude.
Right.
I might be buying a plane, you know, the next few years.
I think that's what you were trying to touch on
I'll hold
with,
you to
like, the YouTubers and the large social media following people who are, like, let's say, buying a car for the video because I'm going to make X revenue off my channel, off my video.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So how do I offset that? Well, let's buy this as, and I could be totally wrong right now, but
No, you're right.
let's buy okay, great.
Yeah.
Let's buy this car, give it away, or do those types of things and create expenses to offset.
Look at what game shows have been doing forever, right? Like Wheel of Fortune. They give away all this
Boats
stuff.
and
From the ad revenue, right?
Yeah, and the people have to pay tax on it because Wheel of Fortune is deducting it, you know? And, like, they're all, you know, just doing that. Now, granted, I've heard Mr. Beast interviews and stuff. He's like, yeah, I usually have to pay the taxes because most of these people I'm giving stuff to can't afford it.
Do it. Yeah.
You know,
so he can't pass it to them.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is. But
Sure.
for him in the big picture of it, it's the right play.
Yeah.
Right?
He's still coming out ahead.
Yeah. And so I look at it too, with everything we do. It's like, all right, this whole thing we're in right now is a write-off, right? But, you know, if I want to go buy a nice AP or a Rolex, right? It's like,
Do a video about it.
do a video about it. What is it now?
Yeah. And I don't know. This is the part that I may be wrong or maybe not fully understand yet is I don't know if the government understands that yet.
They
that
don't.
space.
So, I mean, you know, Matt and I, Matt's my partner at my CPA firm, for those you don't know. We've had this conversation. We're like, how does the government treat these quote-unquote frivolous expenses? Right? They're not traditional business expenses.
You don't need a Rolex.
I don't need a Rolex, but I do.
Right, they're fun.
But I do for business.
They're cool.
Yeah.
No, but, like, you know, because they have not done any kind of rulings on YouTubers and stuff. But this is where money is obviously at. So it's
They're
like,
going to start paying attention.
yeah, if I do a video on my new Rolex and it gets 1 million views, you can't tell me that wasn't a business.
Right. It
expense.
was not a marketing expense.
It was
for
a
the
direct
company.
purchase related to the activity that creates your revenue.
Exactly. And, if I'm going to meetings and I have to have a Rolex with these high, net worth people, like, it is what it is. I mean,
Absolutely.
real estate agents get nice cars and nice suits and
Yeah,
things to do their thing.
You have to withhold the image and build the credibility. And
Yeah.
at the end of
So
the day,
that's what's going to get us this shut down. This is going to block.
Yeah.
by saying
Well,
the government
we
doesn't
already
understand
censored,
it.
we censored the last 30 minutes, so it's all
Perfect.
good.
Perfect.
No, but anyways, guys, dude, it has been a blast having you guys on. A lot of great things we talked about. Tell everyone where they can find you.
So definitely check us out on TikTok. We're starting to grow on TikTok pretty well, and hopefully, the sky's the limit.
What's the
with
TikTok
that.
handle?
it's the Boakley Brothers.
Right.
So our YouTube
Spell
channel.
Boakley out for them.
Boeckle.
Okay.
So the Boakley Brothers.
Okay.
You'll find that on YouTube. You'll find that on TikTok, and
We're launching
all
our
our social-
Instagram
yeah.
as well,
Okay.
strictly for Jesse and I, the Boakley Brothers.
Okay, cool. I love the brand.
that's the brand.
Yeah.
Perfect. Did you buy the domain yet?
I believe we did. Yeah.
We did.
Yep.
Okay.
All right,
did.
perfect.
I know that
that's a
look
yes.
in your eyes.
All right, good. Because I
Well,
just paid
we-
$2,700 for a domain.
I know.
Because I was gonna buy it and then sell it to you
But
guys.
see, luckily, nobody in the world is Boakley.
Yeah, nobody's buying it.
And they don't spell it the way we spell it because it's all messed up.
Yeah, that's funny, dude. But anyways, you guys were awesome. Appreciate having you on. We'll have to do it again.
This
man.
was fun.
Yeah,
We'd love to come
thanks
back.
for having us. We appreciate you and everything you've done. And man, it was a good time.
Let's finish this big old flip, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Oh yeah, well we'll film it on YouTube. That
Yeah.
that
Oh, that'd be good,
deserves
too.
that deserves like
Some
visual.
visual.
Okay.
For sure.
Agree.
So
Yeah, that'd be fun.
yeah, if you guys like this episode, definitely go follow them. All of their socials. We'll link to it below. If you're not subscribed to this podcast yet, make sure you guys go subscribe on Apple Podcast and the Seguin YouTube channel. If you're not following me on like all my other stuff, I don't know why you're
What
even
are you
listening.
doing?
Yeah, so go do that as well. And we appreciate you guys for watching. Take care. Thanks for watching The Ryan Pineda Show. If you want to work with me, head over to ryanpineda.com. You can find my courses, coaching programs, and upcoming events. We also have free resources you can download, so head over to ryanpineda.com.